Malibu Canyon, California, September 17, 2009. Shortly after midnight, a young woman walked away from a sheriff's station. She had been arrested earlier that evening. The charges were minor. She had no car, no phone, no transportation. The road ahead led into canyon wilderness. Dark hills stretched into the distance. She walked away into the night. Mitrice Richardson was never seen alive again. There are cases that refuse to fade. Stories suspended in time. Lives interrupted without warning, without explanation. What remains are fragments, a late-night release, an empty canyon road, a silence that endures. Mitrice Richardson was 24 years old. She lived in Los Angeles County. Her family described her as intelligent, creative, independent. She had attended California State University, Fullerton. She studied sociology. Friends said she enjoyed art and music. She often expressed herself through photography. Mitrice maintained close contact with her mother. Family members reported no history of disappearance, no indication she intended to leave home permanently. In the days before September 2009, those close to Mitrice noticed unusual behavior. She appeared distracted. Her thoughts sometimes seemed scattered. Family members later suggested she might have been experiencing emotional distress, but nothing indicated that she would soon be walking alone through the Malibu hills after midnight. On the evening of September 16, 2009, Mitrice arrived at a restaurant in Malibu. The location was Jeffrey's, a well-known restaurant overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Employees later reported that Mitrice began behaving strangely. She spoke with other customers. Her comments appeared unusual. Some staff members believed she was confused. Others believed she may have been experiencing distress. At one point, she left the restaurant without paying for her meal. The bill was small, but staff contacted the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Deputies arrived at the scene. They located Mitrice near the restaurant. She was arrested for failing to pay the bill and for possessing a small amount of marijuana. She was transported to the Lost Hills Sheriff's Station. The location sat along a quiet stretch of canyon road, surrounded by hills, remote terrain, dark after sunset. The events that followed inside that station would become central to the mystery. After her arrest, Mitrice Richardson was transported to the Lost Hills Sheriff's Station. The facility sat along Malibu Canyon Road. The surrounding area was quiet. Hills rose on both sides of the roadway. The nearest towns were miles away. Inside the station, Mitrice was processed. Deputies recorded her personal information. Her belongings were secured. Her vehicle remained parked near the restaurant where she had been arrested. She did not have access to transportation. Family members later reported that Mitrice appeared confused during the arrest. Some believed she may have been experiencing emotional distress. Her mother, Lettice Sutton, later called the sheriff's station. She expressed concern about her daughter. She asked whether Mitrice would remain in custody overnight. According to later reports, she was told that Mitrice would likely stay until morning. But events unfolded differently. Shortly after midnight, Mitrice Richardson was released. At approximately 12:38 a.m., September 17, 2009, Mitrice Richardson was released from the station. The decision would later become one of the most debated moments in the case. It was late. The canyon roads were dark. The surrounding area offered little public transportation. Mitrice had no vehicle. Her car remained miles away in Malibu. She had no confirmed ride, no confirmed plan to return home. Surveillance footage captured Mitrice leaving the station. She walked toward the road. Her direction led deeper into the canyon. The night was quiet. Streetlights were limited. The terrain around the station included steep hills and remote trails. After that moment, no confirmed sighting placed Mitrice Richardson anywhere else. She had walked away from the station, into darkness, and into uncertainty. When Mitrice did not return home, her family became concerned. Her mother attempted to reach her. Calls went unanswered. Messages were not returned. Soon, the family learned that Mitrice had been arrested the previous night. They also learned something unexpected. She had already been released, and she had left the sheriff's station shortly after midnight. The news raised immediate questions. How had she left? Where had she gone? Why had she been released alone in the middle of the night? Her family traveled to the area. They began searching near the Lost Hills station. The surrounding terrain was difficult. Steep hills covered with brush, narrow roads winding through the canyon. Volunteers joined the effort. Search teams examined nearby trails. They checked roadside areas. They walked through sections of the hills. But no confirmed trace of Mitrice was discovered. Days passed, then weeks. Still, there was no answer. As the investigation continued, attention focused on the events inside the sheriff's station. Why had Mitrice been released at that hour? Why had she not been allowed to remain in custody until morning? Family members questioned the decision. Officials explained that she had been legally eligible for release. The charges were minor. Bail had been processed. But the timing remained controversial. The canyon roads offered little activity after midnight. Few vehicles passed. Few businesses remained open. The distance between locations was significant. Investigators attempted to reconstruct Mitrice's movements. They interviewed local residents. They examined possible routes away from the station. But no confirmed witness reported seeing her. No confirmed sighting placed her in the surrounding towns. Months passed without resolution. Her family continued searching. They organized additional volunteer efforts. They contacted media. They appealed for information. But the canyon remained silent. Nearly 11 months after Mitrice disappeared, a discovery was made. In August 2010, human remains were located in a remote area of Malibu Canyon. The location was several miles from the sheriff's station where Mitrice had last been seen. The terrain was rugged, steep hills, dense brush, difficult to access. Authorities examined the scene. The remains were later identified as Mitrice Richardson. The discovery provided confirmation of her death, but it did not immediately explain how she had died. Investigators attempted to determine what had happened in the months since she vanished. The condition of the remains made conclusions difficult. The exact cause of death could not be confirmed. The timeline remained uncertain. The canyon had concealed the evidence for nearly a year. The location raised new questions. How had Mitrice reached that area? Had she walked there? Had someone brought her there? The answers remained unclear. Following the discovery, the investigation continued. Officials reviewed the events surrounding her release from the sheriff's station. The decision to release her after midnight remained controversial. Her family continued asking for answers. They questioned whether proper procedures had been followed. They questioned whether Mitrice had received adequate assistance. Legal action was later pursued against the county. Investigators re-examined the timeline. They attempted to determine whether Mitrice encountered another person after leaving the station. But no confirmed witness reported seeing her. No confirmed evidence identified another individual involved in her death. The case remained incomplete. Her final hours remained uncertain. The canyon held many possibilities, but few confirmed answers. In the years since September 2009, the events surrounding Mitrice Richardson's disappearance continue to raise questions. Her final confirmed location remains the Lost Hills Sheriff's Station. Shortly after midnight, she walked away into Malibu Canyon. She had no car, no confirmed ride, no clear destination. Nearly 11 months later, her remains were discovered in a remote canyon area. But the discovery did not resolve the mystery. Investigators could not determine the exact cause of death. They could not confirm what occurred in the hours after she left the station. Her family continued seeking answers. They questioned why she had been released alone in the middle of the night. They questioned whether more could have been done to ensure her safety. The canyon remains vast. Steep hills stretch across the landscape. Trails disappear into brush and shadow. Some believe Mitrice may have become disoriented while walking through the terrain. Others believe she may have encountered someone after leaving the station. But no confirmed evidence has established a definitive explanation. The timeline remains incomplete. The final moments remain uncertain. Mitrice Richardson walked away from a sheriff's station after midnight. She disappeared into the canyon darkness. Until new information emerges, the circumstances surrounding her death remain unresolved. Her final steps remain unseen. Her final moments remain unknown. And the silence endures. For those left behind, the waiting never truly ends. Answers remain somewhere beyond reach, hidden in memory, buried in silence. If you know anything about this case, contact your local authorities or the appropriate tip line. Even the smallest detail can matter. This has been Evidence in Silence. Where the story ends, the questions remain. Thank you for listening.